Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is one you don't want to miss. We're diving into a heated debate where a Muslim apologist steps up to defend Islam, boldly claiming that the Quran is the most perfectly preserved religious scripture in history, a statement we've all heard before. But here's the twist. He's going head-to-head with none other than Big Jon Steel. As you'll see, things start off strong, but when Big Jon begins dissecting the claim with razor-sharp logic, historical evidence, and undeniable facts, the conversation takes a dramatic turn. And trust me, this doesn't end the way you'd expect. So, if you're ready for some intense intellectual sparring, and maybe even a little drama, grab your popcorn and hit that play button. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Okay. Let's start with the argument first, though. So we'll stay away from Christianity. We'll stick on Islam.
Okay.
So one of the things you keep talking about is historically and secularly, right? So let's start with the secular historically. Let's talk about manuscripts and scripture. Islam has the most authentic, preserved, and carbon dated, authenticated scripture. Do you agree?
No, because that's
Okay.
gonna
So we
be
have a
based
manuscript.
that's going to be based off certain different criteria, right? So, for example, the writings from what's his name, Abraham Lincoln, would be more authentic. So, and that would technically be considered like a scripture.
No, see, like the scripture is very different. We're talking religious scripture, right? So if you compare the different scriptures,
Right.
for the
So
religious
you're
books,
changing
i.e.
it's the
the
most
Quran and the
authentic
Bible.
religious scripture.
Yeah, we're talking religion here. It's a religion, isn't it? It's a religion discussion. So we talk about religious discussion and religious scriptures without doubt. And this is secular and this is historical. Let's take out Muslims and Christians. Science, historians all agree the most
Okay.
authentic
Can
carbon
you
dated
cite me a
without
source?
change is in the Birmingham manuscript in Birmingham, University of Birmingham,
But
in England.
hold on, pause. You said it's like a consensus viewpoint, right? Okay, so you should be able to get if it's consensus.
110%.
If it's a consensus viewpoint, give me a
110%.
If it's a consensus viewpoint, give me a secular source that says this.
Yeah. So the actual holding of it is not in a Muslim country or a Muslim authority or anything. It's
Not
actually held in
the
the
question I'm
University of
asking.
Birmingham.
Not the question I'm asking. I'm asking for an historian that's secular that concedes that the Quran is one of the most well preserved religious documents.
Yeah. I think you got the wrong end of the dick. What I'm trying to say is that the Quran that's preserved and held is in the University of Birmingham. Yeah. So the actual Quran that's preserved is in the University
Right, but
of Birmingham.
you're not answering my
Which in
question.
itself,
You're not answering my question. You made the claim that it's the consensus viewpoint. Consensus means that the majority
yes.
majority of people believe this. So then you should be able to provide me a
So my
singular.
answer is the
So
University of Birmingham.
you should be able to provide me a single secular source that backs that up.
Okay, I think I've made a point. We'll move on.
You haven't made a
we'll agree to
point
disagree on
because
that one.
you've made claims. You haven't brought any evidence. You haven't brought any sources. You
But
just
I've
made
said to
claims.
University
So
of Birmingham.
I don't concede. I don't concede that. University of Birmingham. What am I looking at?
The University of Birmingham,
Uh-huh.
right, has a Quran that they display and they hold and they authenticate it as being the oldest scripture that's been preserved.
That just says
Within
that they
50
have.
years.
That just says they have an old Quran. That's not preservation.
No. Stop. I think you got, again, you misreading what I'm saying, right? Maybe it's my accent. Maybe it's where it's from. What I'm saying is the University of Birmingham, let's start one by one. Do you agree the University of Birmingham is a secular organization that has nothing to do with Islam and has nothing to do with the Quran, right?
I don't know.
It's a university.
I don't know. It might not.
Can you check?
I'm on the University of Birmingham website right now.
Yes, can you? Yeah.
Okay.
You got to put it in University of Birmingham and the Quran preservation within 50 years. And all your
hold on,
Christian
slow
historians,
down. You told me to look up the website, and then you're just going on. So the Birmingham Quranic manuscript is one of the earliest surviving fragments of the Quran, one of only a handful of early manuscripts in the Quran in the world to have been radiocarbon dated. It is part of the Mignana collection of the 3,000 Middle Eastern manuscripts cared for the Cadbury Research Library, University of Birmingham, UK. The Birmingham Quran manuscript contains parts of surahs, 18 through 20 Islamic holy book. Right off there, it just told me it's not perfectly preserved. Right there in that sentence.
No, Okay, clarify why it says it's not perfectly preserved.
Because it only has parts of the surahs.
No, read that again where it says parts.
Right. So it says the
please?
Birmingham Quran manuscripts contains parts of surahs
Yes.
18 through 20 of the Islamic holy book.
Okay, then. Okay, so let's just start with what must be preserved. So 18 to 20 are identical, word for word, full stop for full stop, comma to comma.
But I didn't deny that. What I'm saying is it's myths right here that's not perfectly preserved because it's missing parts.
But I'm gonna give. Okay, so it's not missing parts. It's what it has missing the whole Quran. So it has certain surahs which are identical, right? So we're gonna take this in steps.
Oh, okay, but you can see. So then you kind of started off on a false foot here because you're making on like it was an entire Quran.
Okay, so I under my knowledge, I think it is the full Quran, but I'll concede in the sense that it might not be the full Quran.
So it only has parts of the surahs. 18 to 20 Islamic holy book written on parchment in the early form of the Arabic script known as the Hijazi. Okay, so where is it going to tell me that it's exactly the same as what we have now?
I'll have to search that myself, but the point is what your point is saying is you want a reason to prove that Islam is right. Right there in front of you is the most authentic paper that's been that's exactly the same, identical to what we have today.
But you're just making that claim. You haven't proved that yet.
No, I have. I've just
you haven't yet. You haven't yet. All we see is it has parts of the surahs of 18 through 20 of the Islamic holy book. There's nothing where it says it's completely identical.
If you're an atheist, okay. Well, you have to look more into it. Can you click into it and then go further, do more research on this now?
Well, you're the one making the claim. You should provide the evidence.
I've sent you to direction. I've directed you to.
You've just given me. Just give the University of Birmingham. You also started off false footing, making the claim that it was the entire Quran. Now you conceded that you might have been wrong about that, and I appreciate that. But you have not provided.
I never said
you have not. You sir have not provided sources. You provided vague references to things and just wanted me to take your word on it.
Okay, hang on. Sorry. Let's take it steps again, right? So. We started from the scratch. You said to me, prove to me that it's perfectly preserved. I'm telling you, there's a university in Birmingham that has the Quran. Initially, you denied the Birmingham University had the Quran.
I didn't deny that.
Now you agree that...
I didn't deny that.
Yeah, you did. Initially,
no, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree.
I didn't deny that.
That's why you searched it. Okay, maybe it's...
Why would I search it if I denied it?
Okay, I'll concede. Maybe you searched it, but you found it, right? So you agree.
I didn't deny
what
it.
I said actually exists,
right? So they have old manuscripts. That doesn't prove anything. We have old manuscripts too, right? We have the Isaiah scroll, which has 90%. We have the Isaiah scroll. We have the Isaiah scroll, which has a 96% accuracy. And Dan McClellan himself said that he'd be okay with saying it's a 99% accuracy to the Isaiah scroll that we have today. And that predated Jesus by about 200.
And how much of the scroll
that predated Jesus by about 200 years.
Okay, John.
Yes.
Listen, I appreciate your time. It's been good. I want to. I think we're gonna have this conversation later. I'm fasting tomorrow, so I need to eat. That's why I was a bit rushing. I kind of appreciate the way we spoke. It's fine. You've been respectful. I'll come back on another time. May God guide you. Hopefully, I see you in a mosque one day, my brother. Allahu Akbar.
All right, man. God bless.
And everybody else in the comments, please research Islam, the truth, the real way, with proofs, and the world is changing.
You don't get to come up and preach, my friend. Nice guy, but I'm not going to let you preach.
Well, that was quite the showdown, wasn't it? If you were paying attention, you saw how quickly things escalated. Big Jon Steel dismantling claim after claim, until the Muslim apologist decided to cut the debate short with an excuse about fasting. Whether or not that was a convenient exit strategy, one thing's for sure. This exchange left us with some valuable lessons to reflect on. 1. We learned that simply stating something, like the Quran, being perfectly preserved, isn't enough. Without verifiable evidence and a willingness to engage in honest dialogue, even the strongest sounding arguments can fall apart under scrutiny. 2. While fasting is a valid religious practice, it also raises the question, if you're going into a debate about your faith, shouldn't you be prepared to see it through? Just asking for a friend. 3. One common tactic we often see from Muslims defending the preservation of the Quran is appealing to the Birmingham Quran manuscript as definitive proof. But here's the catch. It's only a small fragment of the Quran, not the entire text. And while it's fascinating from a historical perspective, it doesn't prove the Quran has been perfectly preserved across centuries. In fact, other manuscripts show variations and inconsistencies, which critics, like Big Jon Steel, expertly highlight. This debate reminded us why it's crucial to dig deeper before accepting oversimplified narratives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.